Hello loves, so welcome back to TigeraGitana. Today we are going to be doing a patron voted video, and they picked for a Chakra cooking spell specifically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how I do my Yuca for Chakra healing, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. I'll be showing you like the whole process and how I specifically make my Yuca, because I am very picky on how Yuca is made. Not everybody makes it the same way. A lot of people overcook the Yuca. It is what it is. So a little bit on the Yuca. Yuca is very much native to the Caribbean islands. There's also many areas of the world, but it was specifically sacred to the Tainos, native to the Caribbean. And so Tainos worship, like this was one of the offerings used during marinade rituals, and it was a sacred root. And it just serves it's very multi-purpose. It serves it has many faces to it, and you can use it in different ways. But when it comes to root chakra healing with food, you have to make sure you're using root vegetables, which is why I picked the Yuca. I was this close to picking platanos, but you know what? I was like, you know what? Y'all know I'm Dominican, so let's not do the platano today. Let me just do the Yuca, especially because this one literally comes from the grounds. Platanos they definitely grow a little bit differently, but this one comes from the ground. It is a root vegetable, and if you make it incorrectly, it could be poisonous, so just be very mindful of how you're cooking this. The skin is coated with wax because of that as well, but it's nothing to be scared of. It is a really delicious root vegetable. It has a similar kind of consistency, not really, but kind of, as a kind of like a potato. It's different taste, and hello Luna, different taste. To me, it's a different feel. You can mash it the same way as well. You can do this recipe and mash the Yuca as well, or you can keep it solid. I'm gonna show you guys how I feel like making it this morning, but you can also make mashed Yuca puree, just basically like mashed potatoes, but instead mashed Yuca, and it tastes delicious. So yeah, so we're gonna be using this specifically for today. Okay, you're not gonna need a ton of ingredients for this. You're gonna need salt for the water. I already have like a pot of water semi-boiling is starting, and you're gonna need butter as well. So let me just show you guys water. So you're gonna salt the water. Okay, salt the water. Always salt the water. You're making platanos, you salt in the damn water. And I'm just gonna cut this up and show you guys how I'm making it. The butter, if you're vegan, you can swap it for the earth balance, but I'm using butter specifically on this. Butter actually has a very spiritual connection as well. It is used as a solidifier. It brings like good health as well. It basically, you know how butter like transforms from solid to like a liquid form. It is there to signify on a spiritual level that something is being integrated within your own energy space. So since we're doing an earth, like a root chakra spell, what the spell that we're doing with the Yuca is going to be integrated gently with the butter. That's what we're using the butter for. If you're vegan, just swap it for the earth balance or whatever vegan butter you want to use. Just make sure that it's a salted butter, unless you don't want to use a salted butter. But listen, you throw butter on Yuca and that thing is crack. I'm just saying. So I'm gonna cut this up, and then I'll show you guys how I'm just finishing up this spell. Okay, so quickly, just some really quick facts about Yuca and working and cooking with Yuca. Yuca is not like a plátano, okay? It really ripes really quickly. If you buy a Yuca at the supermarket, you're gonna have to make it within 2 days, because Yuca will start going bad really fast. So you see the black right there? That means that this part of the Yuca is already like, you can't use it. You can if you want to, okay? But it's about 99 out of 10 times you know, 100 times that I've made it, it doesn't end up coming out the same. It comes up like extra hard. It's just like, it gives you issues. Okay, so you want to make sure that the yuca in the center is completely white, or you can't work with it, is what I would recommend, especially because this is like the end of this. I'm gonna cut it to here, and if this part is still like looking like with the black lines, I'm not going to use it because it's just not going to be good. So it's just going to be a waste of time. But yeah, so tips on also picking up out a yuca at the supermarket. You do want it to be hard. You don't want it to be soft. If it's soft, throw the whole thing away. Yuca, again, ripens really fast. So if you see it at the supermarket, you want to make sure that you're grabbing like the fresher ones. This one is still hard, so I'm going to cut it up and see how it looks. Another tip for the yuca, especially buying yuca at the supermarket, one of the things you will see a lot of Spanish people doing, well, Latinos doing, sorry, at the supermarket, is that we will literally go grab a yuca and be like, blah, and like hit it on something. People looking at us like we're crazy. If you are not of the community, you are going to be looking at us like we're trying to, you know, break the stuff. But we're actually trying to figure out if the yuca is still good, because some yucas, like, they look good, but sometimes you actually have to break it to see if it's good. So you see how this is all white? That means that this is a really, really good yuca. So I'm just going to finish cutting it up, and yeah, I'm going to show you guys the rest of it. Also, I'm just going to show you how to cut a yuca really quick, because people like to make things complicated. So you're going to just make a slit. You see where the rim is? That is still the skin. So basically, you're going to take the knife out, and you're just going to, you're going to use the slit, and you're just going to pull the skin off. Kind of like a plátano, but actually with yuca, it actually comes out a little bit more seamlessly, because it's literally one skin peeled off. So you see, all of this is just skin. So you're just gonna peel this part right off, and it pulls all together off. So it's literally not rocket science. Okay, when cutting it, you want to just press kind of deeply around until you can like twist a knife and just literally like break it in half with your hands. It's literally the easiest thing to cut, so don't get overwhelmed with yuca. It's really, really easy. Literally, like, you keep pressing on it, and then it breaks, and then you just twist the knife, and then boom, you got yuca. This is a really, really good yuca, you can tell. So literally the skin peels right off, and it has like this soft, almost like watery kind of feel to it. That's how you know that's the separation of the skin. You don't want to use the butt. As always, we don't use the butt, but you don't want to use the butt for this, okay? So for this recipe, the other thing that we're going to be using is an onion, which is good for purification, healing, money, so many different things. Onions are really, really good to add to these type of dishes. And if you ever had, okay, you know, any type of Caribbean dish, you know, we use pickled onions, and we top it with like red onions. We use red onions a lot in our cooking, in many different ways. Now for the yuca, traditionally I would be using pickled onions, but I don't have it in the refrigerator right now. I didn't pre-make this, so I'm just gonna make the fast version of the pickling, which still has the taste on it, and then I'm just actually gonna saute it in the pan just to caramelize it a little bit. I can't even say that word today. And yeah, so I'm just going to be using vinegar, and I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to show you the vinegar in a second. So I'm going to be using the Heinz all natural distilled white vinegar for this. I wouldn't use apple cider vinegar to pickle the onion. I would definitely just use this one. You want to use white vinegar, so this is the one I'm using. And vinegar has like a really amazing reputation when it comes to spell work, because it's very multi-purpose. You can use it for different things, but cleansing and protection, hex breaking, so many different things. It's just an amazing tool to use, especially when cooking as well. So you want to make sure you're setting intention for each of these ingredients and activating the thing that you want to use for each one. So if you want to cleanse your root chakra from any stagnation, you want to make sure you're adding that intention to each tool. If you want to make sure you're cleansing any money stagnation, you want to set that intention for each tool. If you want to just purify and remove, disconnect any type of just attachment, any like evil eye work or anything that was sent to you that's on a negative way, you want to make sure you're setting that intention with each of the ingredients that we're using, especially because a lot of the ingredients that we're using are very cleansing. We got salt in the water, we have vinegar, we have onions. A lot of them is very cleansing, really basic ingredients. So yeah, so that's what we're using today. Now, this is gonna get really foggy, sorry. I'm gonna try to adjust it, but I'm only gonna tell you guys this one time, okay? Yuca cooks faster than plátanos. Yuca cooks faster. I would say potatoes and yuca probably cook a little bit evenly because, you know, potatoes, they cook really, really, really fast. They get soft really, really fast. But specifically, yuca cooks super, super fast. It is a really fast, just water absorbing root. Okay. The thing with yuca and the reason why a lot of people overcook it is because they let it get really, really watery. When you see it, the white get gray, like all over gray, you done overcooked the yuca. You can still eat it, but it's gonna taste really soggy, really watery. I would just mash it at that point and make a puree, not adding any water, because it basically just absorbed all of that water. I like my yuca when it still has, you see how it's still white? I like it when it still has the white in the center specifically. I'm gonna show you what that looks like in a few. This literally needs like probably another 7 minutes or so because it cooks really, 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 really fast. I'm not even joking with you guys. But there's a reason why I like my yuca with still the white, because you're still getting the taste. You can actually taste what the yuca is supposed to feel like what's supposed to taste like. And then when you put the butter on top of it, it just like, it's literally like a foodgasm moment. It's just really, really good. So I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like when it's finished. So with the onions, what you're gonna do is you're gonna want to take a plate that has like some like it goes in a little bit, so there's like the little base, and it's not just fully flat, so it's holding the vinegar. And you want to just go around and you want to coat every single, you don't want to like just pour a ton of vinegar in there, you just want to coat it so it can soak. So you want to go around each one just to make sure it got some of those juices, because the second the vinegar hits in there, it starts absorbing it. And I'm just gonna put that to the side so it can like soak before I saute it. This part you're just gonna throw in your compost, but the dry parts you're gonna want to save. You can burn this for money. Literally, you could just burn it for money. You can powder it as well. So just make sure you don't, are wasteful for no damn reason. So yeah, the yuca's not done yet. It needs like another like 2 minutes, but I'm gonna show you guys. So a yuca is done when you could stick your fork through it and just break right through it. This one, I feel like it needs a little bit more time because this one specifically was a little bit thicker. If like I stand it up for you, you see how the edge is just like a little bit clear. That means that's what it absorbed with the water. The center still has that white, and I want to make sure it's still white, but I don't want it to be fully completely white. So I'm just gonna give it a couple of more minutes, but it's literally almost done. You want to make sure this is one of those vegetables you want to make sure you're watching when you're cooking. This is also one of the reasons why I do not buy yuca at any Spanish restaurant. I just do not buy it at any Spanish restaurant because it never tastes good, because they always leave it in the water way too long and they overcook it and it just does not taste good. So I'm super picky with my yuca. Like, unless I'm in DR, because they obviously know how to make it correctly, that's like the only way. But yeah, you can find yuca all over like South America, the Caribbean. It's a very like known root vegetable, but it's a root vegetable that not a lot of people work with because they don't know how to work with. I feel like yuca would be honestly that vegetable that people take and make into a thing, like avocado and like like a super food type of thing, like a super starch, like try this, like kind of like a sweet potato thing, like where they just make it famous because they never heard of it before, and they want to stop eating potato because that's like the only root vegetable that they like to eat, kind of like that. So yeah, so this is like one of those things that tastes really amazing when you hit it with the butter, when you put it on top of the onion. It just absorbs the flavors so well, but still maintains its own consistency with flavor. So it's just like a great one to use. Like, root vegetables is something that we use in the Caribbean, in like South America as well, a lot. We work with a lot of different root vegetables, jalthea, like so many different root vegetables. We can literally go do a whole like Caribbean spell work just based on all the damn root vegetables we have, because we work with so many of them. And that's why when you go into like, you know, Spanish supermarkets, you see like a whole bunch of like just aisles with different types of root vegetables. I have like a ton of favorite ones. They're just so amazing for so many different things, but Yuca is like one of my favorites, and it's also one of like the rare ones that I like buy, because I know if I buy it I have to make it within those 2 days, so I have to be craving it. I have to like, there's a whole thing with it. It's very soft and gentle on the system versus plátanos, and they're very fibrous, so they have it can, you know, make your bathroom experience a little tight. I'm just saying, TMI, but I'm just saying literally, if you eat a lot of plátanos, you tend to be in the bathroom have like struggling a little bit more, because it's just a little tougher on there. So Yuca is more gentle. It does have, again, it's close to that potato consistency, but it's literally not the same thing, and it doesn't taste the same either. Potato, I'm pretty sure you can overcook it 5 times over, and you can still mash it and turn it into a thing. This, you cannot. You just can't. You have a window of opportunity to make this thing taste good. And if you miss it, you missed it. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm going to give this another minute, and then I'm going to take it. So this is pretty much what it looks like when it's perfectly done. And you know it's perfectly done when you just cut through, put it over, and you see how it's still white in the center, but it has that like outer edge. You just want to make sure you can put your fork through it. Yuca is one of those magical vegetables that still kind of continues to cook afterwards. So once you put it on the plate, you'll see that some of it will turn kind of like this. And this is what I mean by it being like, if your Yuca looks completely like this, where it doesn't have any white, you overcooked it and it's way too soft. So at that point you can mash it, because it's easily like mashable, and then just eat it that way. But this is fine. So you're gonna take the butter, and then you're gonna put it right on top and let that baby melt, and just trust me, it's crack. I like to put butter on top of all of it, so it just melts, and then it's like a pool of butter underneath, and you just break, you know, you cut up the pieces and you dip it in the butter, and it's amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and cook the onions now, and then I'm basically just gonna finish up the dish for you guys. Okay, so then I'm just going to put the onions on here. It still has a liquid. I use grapeseed oil for the oil. You can use whatever oil you want to use. Because it has the vinegar, it's going to do that, but it is what it is. Okay, and I'm just gonna, I like to put all the vinegar in there so I'm actually finish absorbing the oil. You're gonna break up the onion, and you're just gonna let that caramelize a little bit, so when the white of the onion, the white part kind of starts not looking like that, it's when it's gonna be more cooked. I like mine a little bit crispy, because they do end up still tasting like that vinegar, that pickled flavor. It just needs to be cooked down a little bit. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like in a second. So while it's cooking, you want to make sure you're setting intention. I know a lot of kitchen brujas who, and I grew up like this, where they just sing to the food while they're cooking it. That is something that you can do. You can get, you can visualize as well while you're cooking it, what your intentions are and how you want it to come to fruition and manifest. But ultimately, you have to put a lot of love into your cooking. That is 1000%. When you're activating food in spell work, you have to put a lot of love in it, because the food itself, because it has its own energy, it works really well, and it reacts to that love emotion, that love frequency. So you want to make sure that you're like, I'm gonna love consuming you, I'm gonna love just eating you, and having these intentions and all the things that you're bringing bringing it to me. I'm just gonna love having you in my life. By the way, this kind of pickled red onion trick is my mom's recipe that she taught me, how to do just a quick pickling and still kind of have it similar to how you know you would do it normally with the pickling, because the pickling you just have to leave it in the refrigerator with the vinegar, salt, and I know a lot of people like to put a lot of different things in there, but yeah, this is the quick version. You can add salt and pepper to this if you want. I'm not going to do that because the vinegar and the onions themselves add so much flavor that I really do not need to do that, and because the yuca has the salt anyway, and because as much as I love salt, Bae does not like that much salt, so I am not going to add more salt to this. But yeah, this is just going to give you that flavor from the vinegar and the onions itself. It's just going to brighten up the dish. So yeah. So this is almost cooked down. It just needs like maybe a minute or so more. And then we can eat. You can use whatever protein you want with the dish. For my vegan friends out there, whatever vegan protein you want to use. I know my mom specifically, she likes to make like a tofu scramble type of thing. You can do that if you want. For my non-vegans, I can go full-blown salami or tres golpes up in here on this, and it would be really, really delicious. I like to eat yuca sometimes literally just exactly the way I'm making it by itself. I do that quite often, especially if I'm just craving yuca. It's just such a really buttery root vegetable. It's so good. I like to get it a little crispy. That's just because, you know, that's just how I like my onions. I don't know about y'all, but that's just how I like my onions. But I'm about to take this out in a second. Anyway, so yeah, you can use whatever protein. You can use cheese, queso de freír, like, it doesn't have to be complicated. You use whatever protein you see fit for it. You can also do this, this would be considered breakfast and also a cena. It could also be lunch too. By the way, a cena in DR is basically, because we have dinner at 12 o'clock, so we have, okay, in the Dominican Republic, we have breakfast at 10. 12 o'clock is actually dinner, and then 7 o'clock is the cena, which is like, I guess you would call like lunch. It's just like, you can do like toasted sandwiches and stuff. It's like different, you know, we just eat different in the islands, okay? We just eat different in the islands. Anyway, so you can pretty much make this dish anytime during the day. It's very versatile. If you make it with eggs in the morning, you know, that's totally fine as well. But yeah, so I'm going to take this out. This is perfectly fine. We have some like crispy bits and some non-crispy bits and stuff. This is fine. So I just added some cheese to it, just because we literally ran out of eggs yesterday. So yeah, so I haven't had a chance to go food shopping yet, but I'm just eating it with cheese. But honestly, most of the time I just eat it without the protein and just with the onions, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely will be more cooking videos soon. I've been wanting to do more cooking videos and show you guys on my channel a lot of the recipes that I like learned, and what they're good for and how they help you on a spiritual level. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you use it wisely. And yeah, I will definitely see you guys on the next one. Have a very, very beautiful day. Bye. Also, don't forget to subscribe, okay? And check out the Patreon, because I did vote on this video for this week. So yeah, stay tuned for the next voted video, okay? Bye.